Hello and happy Monday. Welcome all of you to Monday Mojo. Boy, do we have a fantastic Mojo episode for you today featuring our guest speaker, Bruce Barnes. We'll bring him up in just a few minutes here. But LaDonna, I heard something happened to you recently that may have affected your mojo.
I'm telling you, there for a few minutes, my mojo was just about ready to leave. And I thought, oh no, I can't do that. It could have been worse. It could have been my right arm. So I just go with it. I was out treasure hunting and I fell. I was embarrassed, but it is what it is.
Now, did La Debbie come out to play?
Yes, the La Debbie tried to come out and play and take my mojo away. And I said, not today. Go on back. Go on home. None of that nonsense. And I did break my arm. I spent a couple hours at the emergency room on a beautiful Saturday. I had plans and had to revamp the plans, but you know what? It was okay. I wasn't alone. Mark was with me. He was able to get me up and home and go spend the day at the emergency room with me. And
Well,
so,
I'm
yeah.
glad he was there. Definitely. I'm so glad he was there. And it ties in really nicely with our topic of the day. I mean, how many of you knew that today, October 10th, was in honor of World Mental Health Day? And so these little things that happen in our life can really set us back if we let it. And it's all part of that, having that mental awareness.
Yes, it is. And you know what? When you have a down moment, just remember it could be worse. Others do have it worse. So just do what you need to do, smile, fix it as well as you can, and move on.
So we'd love to hear from you. Did you know it's World Mental Health Day? And what are you doing today to be mindful? And hopefully, we'll hear some tips from Bruce. He is our resident, expert today on everything concerning mindset, wellness, and communication. So we'll bring him up in just a few minutes again, just to share in our discussion about what it means to preserve, right, your mental health. So without further ado, let's get into our outfit of the day. LaDonna, I know you're showcasing that beautiful cast. What else
Well,
do you have?
okay, so I had to find something that would go over my soft cast. It's not pretty at all. I'm hoping when I go get a real cast that maybe, they have some bling bling pink that they can put on there. Who knows? But I had to find a top that would go over my cast because it is over my elbow. So I did find this greenish blue turquoise blouse top that is very sheer, but it is a darker color, so it's fine for the fall or the spring. And it has horseshoes on it to give me good luck. See? Again, it was just luck that I found this top to put over my cast. It works beautifully. I have a little cami top under it because if not, it's a little bit too low cut. But I love this top. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has these cute little fabric buttons on it that goes with the top. And I love that. And it matches my blue and black thumb and pinky over here. So.
Got to match, right? Got to coordinate.
Yes.
Well, I absolutely love the horseshoes because sometimes, what we wear really does affect, right, our mindset. And so just, having that, I'm going to put on this shirt with a lucky horseshoes to bring me some luck. Maybe my luck will turn around. It's all part of that positive self-talk that you've been covering as part of your Monday Mojo reset and unwind tips.
Yes. Whatever it is that makes you happy and think happy. And when I seen the horseshoe top, I've had it for a while, but it was kind of in the back of the closet. I thought, oh, that goes beautifully to keep my mind going, keep my mind up from my arm, not being able to do things that I usually do.
I found the perfect t-shirt and it has like everything that we believe in. Ready? So it says here, be kind to others, to your mind, and to our planet.
Yay! I love that. I absolutely love that. And
Isn't
it
that what we
looks,
always talk about? So,
yes,
so I was
beautiful.
like, oh,
I love it.
this is LaDonna top for sure. So I'm so happy to
Yay. I love that.
excellent. So today is October 10th, World Mental Health Awareness Day. Please come in, join us, celebrate with us, join us in the conversation. Type in your questions for us in the chat as well too. So let's bring up our guest speaker today. I mean, he is someone that LaDonna and I both know very, very well. He is part of our online networking group called Meet My Referral Partners, and we actually meet pretty regularly every Friday for Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday. So we've come to know Bruce, and he's just a wonderful soul. And I mean, all the list of things I could say, right? But I'm just going to sum it up that he's a multi-hyphenate entrepreneur.
That is beautifully said right there. Beautifully said.
Multi-hyphenate, meaning, here we go. So he's a mindset, wellness, communication expert. He's a certified professional in positive priming. He's an intuitive life coach. He's a global virtual entrepreneur, speaker, and now, recently, best-selling published author. So without further ado, please welcome Bruce Barnes to our Mojo, Monday Mojo family.
Yay,
Woo!
Bruce. Woo!
Hi. Oh, excited to be here.
You know, Bruce, when I asked you to come on, I had no idea today was World Mental Health Day, but
I didn't either.
it was perfect. It was perfect when I started looking up and, getting everything put together for our show. I thought, oh my gosh, this is a perfect day to have Bruce on.
Yeah, it's
So
just
again, see the way things happen.
our guides really worked, together on this one. Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Absolutely. And we're networking online, and sometimes you may feel like there's nothing in common with someone. And then you just have to look for that one thing, right? One thing we have in common, because Bruce is all the way on the other side of the country, I feel like, in Seattle. And
Yeah,
here,
we're kitty
LaDonna's
corner across each other there.
and LaDonna's in Texas. I'm in Florida. We talk about that all the time. But I came from a fabulous weekend with my husband for Boeing Family Day. So Boeing puts on this, event every other year for all their families, recognizing their work. And Bruce, you've worked at Boeing in your previous former corporate career for I don't know, like 30 years plus, right? And so I thought you could get
35 years of service. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, up in the Seattle, Washington area.
Perfect. And so my husband works for Boeing Jacksonville, and that's the whole reason why we got to move from Boston here. And look at this coin that they gave us.
That's cool. Yeah,
Boeing
that's always fun
Jacksonville.
the Boeing Family Days. They really do a great job with little souvenirs and that, and because the families always wonder what the heck do you do at Boeing,
Yes, exactly.
And sometimes you can't really tell.
Exactly. So I just wanted to share this with you because I just got this, and I just love how they customize it for Jacksonville with the alligator, the surfboard, the fighter jets.
I love that. So is it a pin?
No, it's just it's a paperweight. It's a very heavy
Okay.
And 2 million hours worked.
Oh wow.
Not just my husband, right? Like collectively, I think, as it's with his site.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
So we talked about.
I didn't realize that, and I didn't realize you guys had moved because of his job at Boeing.
Yep, something new you learned every day. And LaDonna, we talked about this before about companies now. Some companies have downsized a little bit of their traditions and the corporate recognition and doing things like that, the Christmas parties, the holiday parties, right? And so it's nice to see that some companies still maintain those activities.
That's nice.
They dramatically cut back on it. But.
Yes. I mean, I remember back in the day where, we would have at Christmas time, they would rent out the theater for the kids to go watch a movie. And then they would, that was the kids side. And then the adult side, they would rent out a restaurant or a bar area for the employees to go with their, wife or significant other. Well, Texas Instruments doesn't do that anymore. They haven't done it in a long, long while, but Mark's been there 30 plus years. I mean, they do other things, but not really for families. So
Mhm.
that we kind of miss.
And it's all
Yeah, because
part of like, workplace wellness, right? Like these
yeah,
things, they matter.
yeah. Because when I was
Yes.
growing up, my dad worked at Boeing, and I can remember Boeing would actually rent one of the big stadiums in Seattle for all of the employees to come in, bringing their families, like a Christmas party or different things like that. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, LaDonna, I know you've prepared some slides as you usually do, with one hand for
It
World
was a
Mental.
little difficult. I was a little ahead this week. And then Saturday came and I got really far behind. But you know what? I just kept doing what I could do.
Well, your slides turned out beautiful. I never would have thought you had a little setback. So, anyway,
Thank you.
you always do such a fantastic job with that. So, I'm going to bring it on the screen and let you take it away. So, one moment here. Ta-da! All right.
World Mental Health Day. Again, I had no idea. We're going to talk a little bit more about this throughout the show since we have Bruce here. But I love that this is just another way to make us think what we should be doing, looking for, and helping. And, we don't have enough awareness of mental health in our world, not just the U.S., but all over. Mental health needs a lot of help. We need more awareness, and we need to get away from the factor of not going to the doctor and getting help. I broke my arm. I went to the doctor. But so many people, when they have something going on, they need that extra help mindfully. They don't go get it. They think they can just cure itself, and we can't, especially in the days that we live today. Okay, so I took and put slides together just for kids because kids have, and when I say kids, school age kids, especially teenagers, young adults in college, but the kids are not okay. And so many times we'll say, oh, you toughen up, get it together. You can be tougher than that. We need to stop doing that. But that is the times that I was raised in. you know what specifically are kids so anxious about that maybe stresses them up and above? So, and we talk a lot about this, Olivia. The earth itself is at risk, which is very much on kids' minds. They learn all the issues that we have for our earth, and they are there, and they are stressful because so many things we don't really know how we're going to fix. And even if we do know how we're going to fix it, it's not a fix that we can do hurriedly. It's not going to be fixed tomorrow. Fearful of going to school because they are afraid of getting shot. All of the shootings that go in this earth, and just this year alone, look how many major shootings that we have had. I mean, it's fearful. It is very fearful, not just at the schools, but stadiums, big areas, the gatherings that people go to. We all think about that, the safety issues. Social media induce fear of missing out and false expectations of body image, life success, testing pressures, fear of disappointing parents. Oh my gosh, that is a huge mouthful of stress right there. And I see it of having teenage grandchildren now. Oh my God, we got to have this test done and we have to pass it, or we don't get to go to the next grade level. Well, every child does not take tests well. They just don't. You can be an AB student and go fail that test, and then you can't go to ninth grade or you can't go to 10th grade, whatever it is. That's a lot of stress to put on a kiddo. How you look. We don't all look like a model. We're all different shapes and sizes. We don't all learn at the same speed. Some of us have to work really, when I was at school, I have to work really, really hard just to pass a class. And then you put a test on top of it. It was worrisome then, but now as fast as classes go and the size, oh my gosh, 30 plus students in a classroom. We never had that when I was at school. So there you go with that. And then the fear of disappointing your parents. That's another thing, we have to be really careful. We have children, for example, one of my grandsons learns, he can do it without studying, without bringing homework home. Well, his brother can't do that. He has to go in for before school tutoring, do homework at home. And then, we praise him for just passing, where his brother, he's in trouble for just passing because he can do more. When I say trouble, we don't beat him, but we just set him down and say, why aren't you making an A? Why aren't you making a B? You've always made these grades. And we just feel like we have to cheerlead the other one on when he just makes a C, because they're different. We have to know our children. So were you easy to pass test in school, Bruce? Was that easy for you? Was grades easy for you, Olivia?
Well, for me, it was yes and no. Some of the classes were easier, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to get good grades. If I got just a C, I was really hard on myself. It's like because I was normally A's and B's, but I just had this self pronounced statement that I just kept saying is, well, because all my friends were also A's and B's and I figured if I don't get good grades, they're not going to like me anymore.
So see, that's a lot of stress just on yourself. How about you, Olivia?
Yes, I remember there's, pressures in school, but honestly, that's all I had to really think about. And I think today's teens have so much on their shoulders. They take on so much. I mean, you look at Greta Thunberg at 10 years old, and worried about climate change and going on strike and not going to school because she was making a statement. I mean, I had at 10 years old. So I just think there's a lot of weight on their shoulders because they do worry about what's going to happen to their environment and their friends and all this, the effects of social media. I mean, we didn't have that when I was growing up.
And you're right, Olivia, when I was growing up, I never worried about what's going on about the earth. I never, ever, we didn't even really talk about it at school, the dangers of it and things like that. And then school shootings, I never thought about that. Never, ever thought about those kinds of things. But now having the social media, we hear about everything and we're just, I guess the world is getting smarter in some ways. And sometimes I think maybe we're outsmarting ourselves way too fast. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the kids are more aware of things as well as the dangers are a lot more nowadays than when I was growing up. And it's I didn't have to worry about getting shot at school. My biggest thing was I'd get beat up every once in a while, but I didn't have to be worried about getting killed.
Right. We just didn't. You're exactly right. All right, Olivia, the next big slide.
So what are some of the telltale signs that you suggest?
And we have a slide for that, what to look for. A decrease in self-care and hygiene. If you see your child changing in any way, but this is just a major way that it says, self-care and hygiene, they're not feeling good about themselves maybe. In eating and sleeping habits, are they sleeping more? Are they sleeping less? Some people, when they have anxiety, they eat more. That's kind of what I do. But when I was growing up, if my mother got upset, she literally could not eat for days sometimes, because that's how she handled her stress. So again, is your child eating? Are they not eating? Are they overeating? Sleeping habits. Are they sleeping more? Are they not sleeping enough? If you find they're using drugs or alcohol, maybe this is a sign there's something more than just trying something out. Extreme irritability, are they going off the handle as per se than what they used to? Some people have the mood swings of maybe they're inverting. Maybe they're not having their friends over as much. Sudden anger. Are they, not being as chilled out as usual? A decline in your academics, your grades, or run-ins with the law can also be warning signs. If your kids start skipping school or not wanting to go to school, but they always wanted to go, you have to look for changes. Don't ignore them. That doesn't mean start yelling, taking things away. It may come to that, but don't do that right away. Don't start changing your behavior right away. But being aware, just being aware. Take a step and think. Be aware. All right. This is just one example, and this is so hard. Is to chill out when your child is going through something. You want to go in there and just shake them to find out what's going on. That doesn't work. It's okay to say, I don't know exactly what to say right now, but I see that you're struggling. Is there anything I can do to help? Or do you just want me to listen for a while? Now, I'm going to go out on the limb. Raising two daughters, helping with 4 grandchildren. They're all different. And I'm going to go out on the limb and say the first time you say this, you're probably not going to get an answer. You're probably going to hear, oh my God, oh, leave me alone. Get out of my room. Something of it. You're over exaggerating, Mom. Stop, Dad. I mean, these are things you're going to hear. You're probably not going to get them to open up and talk to you right away. You may have to repeat yourself. But so many times we want to yell and scream and shake and, you just want answers. Well, unfortunately, you have to be calm and you have to give it some time. But that doesn't mean ignore it. Don't ignore it. Give it time. Talk through it. Be patient. We've done that.
I'd love to hear from you. Kind of, when you work with clients, what are some of the, mental health tips that you like to share? And please also talk about your latest book that came out called, Make It a Great Day. The choice is yours, because that book leads into, does it lead into stories about prevention for teen suicide?
Yeah. Thanks. Make It a Great Day. The Choice is Yours, Volume 2. My chapter is called Got Ants, ANTS, Automatic Negative Thoughts. So the lady that put this together, the first volume came out about a year ago. So Jackie Simmons, I met her a little over a year ago or so, that she was preparing to do a TEDx talk, and I had podcasts that I was doing, and I somehow got connected with her to kind of just promote different speakers that were going to be at the TEDx event. So we were talking, and then she had me on talking about ants on her podcast. And one of the tools that I use is called Positive Prime. And it's kind of like a digital vision board on steroids. That's the way to put it. So she got connected with Positive Prime and had a session created in the platform as well. So, it's kind of full circle around. I was sharing with her a while ago about the book that I'm writing, Mindset Reset: How to Actualize Your Full Potential. And I was describing it to her, and she said, "Oh, I'm putting together a collaboration book, and I'd love for you to, contribute a little chapter on, kind of summarizing the ants and however you want to describe it." So that's how I wound up getting involved with this book. But her daughter, many years ago, attempted suicide at age 14, I believe. And there was no signs up until that point that she could see. So years later, they're at an event, and that same daughter is sharing from stage her experiences and the numerous times that she either attempted or thought about suicide. And Jackie didn't know about those. So and her daughter's goal was to create, resources for kids to be able to use to avoid suicide. And that's where they started their nonprofit for Teen Suicide Prevention Society. And that the sale of this book, 100% of the profits go to that charity. And the thing is that because of teens nowadays, with all the video games and that, they're referring to suicide as self-deleting, as like they're a character in a video game. And with all the research that Jackie has done, they found that when someone commits suicide, I mean, mind you, people of all ages are committing suicide, and especially over the last 2.5 years with the lockdown and everything, suicide rates jumped significantly, especially for teens. But the thing is when someone commits suicide, there's a minimum of 20 people that are directly impacted by the death. So then teens that see one of their friends commit suicide, it kind of implies they have permission to do the same thing. So it's really an epidemic. So it's part of the mental health issues and that. But I mean, she said there's a lot of things that are going on in the kids' minds that there's no visible sign that they're thinking about it. And this is in the book. She's got the rules to emotional cage fighting. It's a way to talk with anybody as far as if you're maybe a little concerned in that, but even if you don't see or have you don't feel like they're necessarily going to commit suicide. But she said that, like the daughter had said, well, we always had the sex talk and all the drug talk and all these different talks, but we never had a talk about not committing suicide. And it boils down to identifying the reasons why you should stay. And so anyway, yeah, it's a great charity and cause for the book and everything. So was really excited when she invited me to contribute the chapter there. And it's kind of interesting how it kind of full circle coming back to is how we met. So and again, like I said, the Positive Prime is kind of like a digital vision board on steroids, and that just a great platform for staying positive. It's one of the tools that I use.
Excellent. And there's vernacular that's changing around that phrase committed suicide. So now we say death by suicide. And so I think that's very important to make that distinction too, that it's not a crime, that you commit a crime per se.
Right. And when we had our little book launch, last week or almost 2 weeks ago, the discussion came up that small kids, the way they are committing suicide is by running out in front of a car and getting hit. So they're not labeling that as suicide. They're just calling that a traffic accident. But they're leaving notes or whatever that for whatever reason, they're committing suicide. And that's how the small kids are doing.
When you say small, I mean, what age are we talking about here?
It ranges from very young, on up through grade school and that. I mean, it's just, it's really sad in that. I mean, but it just goes to show that we really need to be aware of the environment that we're in, as well as we're exposing the kids to. It's like one of the things, like I rarely, if ever, watch the news. That is the biggest source of negativity out there. And it's the easiest thing to control by turning off the news. Don't watch the news. Because it's like one of the things, like when the World Trade Centers, when they came down and the news kept repeating the same video images of the towers collapsing and the planes going in there and everything happening, the kids were just, oh my God, it happened again. It happened again. And it's like, no, it's just a repeat. But it was just, it's a compounding effect on everybody, especially the kids. All the negativity, it builds up to a point where they can't take it anymore.
When you talk about Positive Prime, has that been introduced to teenagers, to kids?
Oh yeah. And that's actually one of that's really cool stuff. When, a few years back, there was a teacher, I don't remember where, at a school on the East Coast, and she approached the principal to do a little experiment, so to speak, just before, I want to say it was a middle school, just before their exams were coming up. Leading up to that, they have a full school assembly in the gymnasium, and they were having, you can customize Positive Prime by adding your own slides and images, and you can change the name, like the name of the account displays periodically, just as another way of anchoring the positivity in that. So what she did is she uploaded a variety of images of the different students, and she changed it out each day, and she put different names of different students in there. So they play this Positive Prime session every morning for, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. And they found the overall attitude of all the students was just significantly much higher. But at the same time, the average grades increased by 30%. Just from that.
That is incredible. And I think kids are much more receptive to it because it's all digital. They get to customize images. They get to customize their phrases.
Yeah, and they're able to see, it's kind of fun because they see images of themselves or their friends and that, so they can relate to it. But at the same time, that one of the things that my initial session that I had added to the library was called Actualize Your Full Potential. And it's just how, showing successful adults and entrepreneurs, that, as well as incorporate of them helping kids. So then I had them create a second session that's called Unlimited Potential, and I geared that towards students. It can be used by anybody, but the images and the statements in there are geared more towards students to give them a little more support and encouragement in that, because they really need it when everything they're going through in school. So, but it's fun. This is each session has a topic and different, whether it's just overall success, wealth, just positive attitudes of just being happier, more encouraged, weight loss, healthy diets, a variety of different things. And so based on that theme, they carefully curate the images that go into the session. And they have, so this comes out to be roughly 1,000 slides that are in the session. And I supply, as the author of it, I supplied 100 positive affirmation statements that go on branded slides. So they show up as the session is playing. And what's really cool is the speed of how fast you're watching the session, as well as if you got a favorite song, you can mute that one while you're listening to your favorite song and that. But the really cool thing is it reshuffles the session every time you watch it. Mm-hmm. So your brain isn't anticipating, okay, I just saw this car, I know the next thing is a picture of this dog. No, it changes it every single time you watch it. So it's totally randomizing, so your brain isn't anticipating what's next. Yeah,
thank you, Leslie, for being on. Please comment. Let us know how you feel, if you have any insight on what we're talking about. Thank you for being here. And Bruce, I'm going to ask you, I know that when my dad committed suicide many, many years ago, you're right. It's not just about the person. It's about the people that they leave. Why? You have that why. You want to know why. Well, we don't know exactly why. We have our thoughts of why. But, one thing, I had done a lot of research right afterwards, and maybe now you know this answer. Maybe I just didn't find it. Are they people that commit suicide? Do we think they're really in their own minds at the time that they do it? Because I just feel like, can you really do something like that if you're in your own mind, you know what I mean by that, Bruce?
Well, it's their own reality, put it that way. And in their reality, their life sucks and there's no reason for them to stay. And a lot of that comes down to what is on social media. What people post on social media is the best things. So they're kids, typically they're looking at that, everybody's life is wonderful, mine sucks, and yeah. But I mean, it's everybody's got their own perception of reality.
Right. And I always think, how can anyone kill themselves or kill another person? I just don't, this is my thoughts, is surely they can't be in their right minds, thinking right, or they cannot have any positive reality to anything, I think, at that moment.
It's surprising how many people have at one point thought about committing suicide. It's very few that actually do it. Like when I became seriously ill when I was, around 16, and it got so bad. I was physically in and out of the hospital of 10th grade about half the school year.
Mm-hmm.
And the following year, the doctors told my folks, like, don't put him back in school. His body's been through so much, go someplace warm so his body can recover and all that. Well, then I wound up getting in hospital again down in Southern California. So then we come back and had another. And at one point, I had a major issue that was it. It's like, Lord, I can't take it anymore. And for about 10 seconds, I thought about committing suicide.
Yeah.
And I realized that's not the answer. I mean, everybody all my loved ones and stuff, and that's where, I thought about who it was going to impact and my reasons for staying. And
right.
And I believe there's a lot of people that when they get to that edge, they don't think about that stuff and they just keep going further to the edge until they jump off.
I agree, Bruce. I think there's probably very few people out there that hasn't thought about it just for a second or two. But you're right. It's those that they stop. They don't go over the edge. They don't go to the cliff. They stop. And I think we have to, more education, like you said before, talking to your children about that. Because we do talk to them about so many things about life. But, even me, when I was raising my children, I never talked to them about that. My grandchildren, the same thing. But then we did start later, not when they were real young, start talking about it because of the school shootings and the bombing. And, that's all a mind building decline, if that makes sense. We're not building our minds, we're declining our thoughts. And I think, Olivia and I preach Mojo every Monday. We even on Thursdays, we preach it, even though it's not a Monday. We just have to create the happy around us, no matter what is going on. We have to make the best of it.
Yeah, we have to definitely enforce the positivity and that, because everything we see on the news and whether it's online news or the news station, channels, broadcast news, it's all geared to keep us in a state of fear.
It's all right.
Yeah, 100%. The old adage was, if it bleeds, it leads, right? It's just, it's one of those things that it's unfortunate, but that's what they do. So one of the things with this, like the automatic negative thoughts, we average 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts every day. Most of those are the same thoughts as we had yesterday. And most of those are negative. So negative, it's like, oh, I'm so bad, I failed at this, I can't do this right, and all these negative things. So we're in a perpetual state of stress. And it's just it physical as well as mental. So it's where you have to interrupt that and introduce a lot more positivity.
I'm so glad you circled back to that, because I was going to ask you, Bruce, because I thought it was so interesting that, at that moment when you're a teenager going through your health challenges, for 10 seconds, you had the thought about ending your life, right? And so 60,000 plus negative thoughts coming through on a loop. I'm like, oh my gosh. And LaDonna, I believe you read the chapter, Got Ants. Can you give us your first impression of that chapter?
Well, Bruce, when I'm sure I'm not, when I read the title, I thought I was reading something about ants. I had no idea, and then I'm like, wait a minute, it has nothing to do with the true ants. But I would like you to explain that to us, because we don't. I really loved your chapter, by the way, but explain to us about ants, because again, when you read the title, you think you're talking about these little crawly ants, you know?
Well, these thoughts, right? I can imagine they're like tiny little critters just roaming through your mind,
Yep.
and they're just, and we have to be able to kind of put them in their own mound or place or to feed them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that's what I kind of envision, the ants crawling around there is just spreading all this negativity in that. And I've got to come up with more, I guess, defined names and that of the different types of ants. And that I found online, they actually do have, a variety of names for these things, but just
like a fire ant, right? Like a fire ant, and classify that, personify that.
Well, it's just a variety of different ones. Let me just pull up one of the descriptions that they come up with. The all or nothing ant, always, never, or everything or everyone ant, the focus on negativity, the feeling guilty. It's just mind reader. The mind reader one is, I kind of talk about this, is like let's see, one type of ant includes always, never, every time, or everyone. And that it's anytime you use that terminology, it's a generalized thing. Where another one is always talking about the negative side of things. Like, okay, I know I got an A on this test, but I got an A plus, or it's I wanted to lose 20 pounds, but I only lost 15. It's like, but so then some other ones are, you're blaming others for the problems that you're encountered. Well, it's all their fault because I didn't do well on this test, or the mind reader ant. Oh gosh, they must not like me because they didn't say hello, or they didn't respond right away to my text. I mean, it's just, or, oh, I know I'm going to have a bad results from the doctor's appointment. It's just you're putting all of these negative things that are just building up that have nothing to do with what's really going on. But I kind of love the fact that it's ants. It's because most people don't think ants, so you think of the crawly things. But
and I did when I read the title, I'm like, ants, and I just thought I was going to be reading about ants, and then I read a few sentences. I'm like, this is not a normal, I think, reader, that we want to read the title and we think that that's exactly what it's going to be. But, have to broaden your mind sometimes. Broaden your thoughts.
And that's the thing. So many, every one of the stories in this book is just amazing to me. And that, because there's something in it for everybody, whether it's something that's educational or a little tearjerker story or heartwarming story, or just, there's something for everybody in there. And there's some of them that you need some tissue nearby because your eyes are going to be leaking. But there's so many different inspiring stories in this that it's not just for kids, it's for adults too. I mean, it's just, different things, inspiring stories, and different things that maybe as you're reading one of the stories, you can see either something in yourself or something in one of your kids that was like, oh, well, okay, maybe I should talk with them about this. Because that's one of the things that it kind of reminds me, this is one of the other things that I talk about, is the 5 love languages. Because everybody's got a primary and a secondary love language, whether it's quality time, or words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts. I mean, it's different things for different people that really tell them that somebody loves them. Because if somebody's, and I honestly believe that a lot of this all kind of comes together, because if someone doesn't feel loved, they don't necessarily feel like they got a reason to stay. So it kind of comes together. But I mean, it's like if Olivia's primary love language is physical touch, like hugs and that, and her husband is saying, I love you, and just words of affirmation, different encouraging statements, you're not really going to feel loved. It's just like, you don't love me. It's like, what do you mean? I tell you I love you all the time, but that's not her primary love language. So it's different things. And that's one of the things that by becoming aware of these things, you not only identify your own love language, but those around you. So you make sure that you're really making them feel loved.
And Bruce, can you give like a mental wellness tip? Just one of your favorite tips.
Can't hear you.
Oh, so you've already covered a few tips for us, like, turn off the news, download Positive Prime, right? And then discover your love languages. Can you share with us one more mental health wellness tip?
Can't hear anybody. What happened?
We can hear you. All right, I'll take you off screen for a little bit and then come back on again.
It never fails. We have some kind of technical difficulty. It's just the way it is.
So LaDonna, what did you get something new from Bruce's conversation today?
I think I did. I think I got some insight on what people are thinking. And I love what he said about talk to your kiddos, just like you're talking about you talk about with your kids about so many things, stranger danger, sexual activity, drugs, but we don't think to talk to them about their mental care. And especially in the life that we live today, I think that's really important to keep an open talk going with your kids about their mental health, and that it's okay to share what they're thinking.
And I just love what he brought up today is that, growing up, we had the sex talk, we had the dating talk, we had the no boys or no girls talk, right? And nowadays we have to have the mental health talk too. And also just, the peer pressure talk and being able to say things, have you ever had these thoughts of suicide? And where did they come from? Were you influenced, etc.? And, what resources can we provide? And I love what he said about, kids need a sense of belonging. And so to tie in love languages, and a lot of this is like home training, right? Like training at home, training with peers, training with schools, to really understand like love languages and how people might respond to know that they are loved.
Yes. And, some people need more affection than others. So you have to start looking for that. Some are more needy than others with feeling love and knowing you're loved. It's just, you want the hugs. You want to be told you're loved. You want the flowers. We're all different. And some need to know more than others. So we just have to keep listening, keep watching, and look for those changes so that we can be there to help and let that special person know you're there, because we don't have enough awareness for our mental health in today's world. We just don't. And I hope we will keep improving on that.
And Bruce, are you still with us?
I'm not able to hear anybody.
Can you hear us? Well, stick around because Bruce is going to come back with a mental health wellness tip, one more for you. And while we do that, please take a note of his link here. It's a one-stop place to get connected with Bruce and keep up with him. So if you're wanting to book a session, you're wanting to learn more about Positive Prime, or even buy the book, Make It a Great Day, this is the link. It's a link tree. So you just have to copy and paste into your browser, and that will get you connected to Bruce. So I think you will walk away feeling just a little bit more energized and positive after speaking with Bruce. And he's giving us so many amazing lessons from just today's discussion. So we're going to turn things over.
And remember, just remember one thing, Olivia, sorry to interrupt you, but just remember when you buy the book that he's in, all of those proceeds go to teenage suicide. So please remember that. It's always good to know that you're helping however you can.
Yeah, and that's right within our hearts because we're doing a fundraiser, right, for October to benefit the Heavenly Bread Children's Life Center in Uganda. And so, we jumped on this chance right away when we heard about Bruce's book and all the book proceeds going to this charity to prevent teen suicide. And just a couple announcements while we have you here. So let's pull up these slides. All right. So...
And you know what I love about the Life Center is that, here we go. The Life Center is going to provide these kiddos safety, housing if needed, the normal school stuff, the learning, but even to go farther, they're going to teach them how to go out into the world and be a better person, to work, to, take care of themselves. So when I say Life Center, they truly mean Life Center. No matter if they come in at 5 years old or 8 years old, they're going to get to eat, get clothing, get nurtured, have the love and the affection that they need, and so much more. Every dollar that they get is going to this Life Center. They just broke ground not too long ago because they had exactly enough money to break ground. So when they get enough money for the next step, they will do that. And they're just going to keep building until they're done. I love that. And we are going up and above, Olivia, by every time someone purchases from this tinyurl.com/Uganda children. Click on that and they are going to receive 40% donation of everything you purchase. That is a huge donation. We love doing it. Purchase something. We're even including our gift cards. So if you buy a $10 gift card, they are receiving 40% of that. So, do what you can and then share the link, share the news.
Yes. So, every purchase matters. And this is a way that you can support causes, right? I just love this. I love that we're doing this fundraiser. I love that Bruce's book is supporting, right, a charity. So sometimes, we want to be able to track our purchases and know where that money's being sent, right? You've earned it. You've worked hard for that. And being able to direct that money and knowing that has a lasting impact for someone else, I think it's just a major blessing. And we want to help you, right? We want to help you with these efforts. And so LaDonna, to help with the holiday promotion, she has put together a buy one, get one 50% off digital gift cards. I mean, this is incredible. And you can shop this link, the tinyurl.com/Uganda children, and buy digital gift cards. And these are available both United States and international. It doesn't get easier than this.
Yes. The only thing you'll go on, you'll put in your email address, and that is where your digital gift card will come. It's so easy. And we have flat rate shipping. If you're inside the US, shipping is only $5. No matter how large the box, no matter how heavy the box, the measurements of the box, it does not matter. And if you're outside the US, it's only $10. Now we all know that shipping continuously keeps going up in price. We haven't done that. It's flat rate, $5 inside the US, $10 outside. So what a way to shop. You know, if you are an office manager and you're looking for gifts, incentive gifts, holiday gifts, there is nothing easier than jumping on the site and buying your digital gift cards for gifts of all kinds. Maybe you're doing a contest. This is a perfect way to, and easy, that you can't get easier. Just go online and get your gift cards. And if you're shopping for something, please go check out our site. New with tag, light new, and vintage items.
So to help you with the shopping, it's now time for favorite items reveal. So hang on, we're going to play that for you right away. And stick around because we always have a coupon code for you that will help you with some extra savings. So here we go.
All right, I put together just a really small display today because we had so much going on. But these are all vintage items. And they are, 3 of them can be very hard to find at times. The plates are like saucer size plates for appetizer, breads, a set of 4, and these are restaurant quality. Look at the bell. Look at that monkey. Look at the face. You can just visualize the face of that ape or monkey. That is a vintage candle holder. Look at that. You can move the leaves. It's metal, but you can move them where you want. And if you look underneath really close, you can see the bling bling coconuts right there. Can you see those, Olivia? They're clear and very unique. And if you, have a jungle theme, looking for jungle theme items, this is a perfect item. I mean, it is incredible. The iron work, the metal work to it is pretty unique. It is vintage from the 80s. Look at the bell. This is a Precious Moments bell from 1992. Look at the holly leaves. There you can see that you have the tag. And then look at her beautiful hair bows. Dear Santa, you see her want list? See, she's made her list. And so she can't shop at the www.homesweethometreasures.net. So she made her a Santa list. I love Precious Moments. We're back to the plates. These are restaurant quality. They did come from a restaurant. They have the certification. They can go back into the restaurant, but they are all white. Look at this Precious Moments. She is carrying her baby doll and she has a candle. And again, a vintage Precious Moments beauty. I love Precious Moments, and the you know what I love so much about them is they are so the technique that they use to do their beauties are just amazing. They show so much. From the unique trim, the baby doll, the light in her hand. So these are some really cool pieces, harder to find pieces. So I hope that you will find at least one that you fell in love with. What was your favorite, Olivia?
I love that Precious Moments girl with her Dear Santa list. If only you could engrave, go to www.homesweethometreasures.net on that list.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? Oh my gosh, that would be wonderful. But you know what? I just love their pieces. I love their pieces.
Precious moments, give us a call.
And that's right. And you know, even the metal piece, it's just so much detailed work in that. It's phenomenal. So yes, I hope everyone watching this finds at least tell us your favorite piece. I want to know. I want to know what you want to see, what you're looking for, so I can find those pieces for you. It's all about you.
See how dedicated LaDonna is. She's going treasure hunting the weekend. She broke her arm for this. So you need to tell her to help her, look for these items. Let her go treasure hunting for you. She'll go to every length.
Yes, I have several people that love to buy precious moments. So anytime that I can find those pieces, I try to grab them at a phenomenal price. I mean, if you go to eBay or something, you're going to pay $25 or above for either of those pieces. You're not paying that with homesweethometreasures.net. And you can help the fundraiser by going to their URL /Uganda children, and 40% of your purchase goes to them. So please purchase.
All right. And to help you sweeten the deal, I don't know how much more value we can give you. There's a code word for today. So are you ready? Are you ready for your code word? It is ants.
Ants. That caught my attention so much, Bruce. I had to use that as our code word. And what that means, 40% to the children. We're going to give you 15% off of that purchase to go back into your pocket for you to save. I mean, flat rate shipping. We've done so much to get you to that website. Please shop. I know everyone this time of year is shopping for something. Halloween is coming. Thanksgiving is coming. Christmas, holiday parties, whatever holiday that you, our friends in Canada today is already doing Thanksgiving. Isn't that right, Olivia? So,
yes.
We all celebrate differently at different times, and that's okay. But we always have birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, baby showers. At Home Sweet Home Treasures, we have it all.
Indeed, we do. So we're going to wrap this up. And it looks like Bruce is back in the studio for us. So here we go. Bruce for a closing statement and his final mental health wellness tip. Yay, Bruce!
Yeah, it's always interesting when some tech issue goes off. It's like, okay, what happened?
We get that every week. Every show, Olivia and I have some kind of technical difficulty.
Well, it's all I found is when you have people with a lot of powerful energy in that the tech just can't handle it.
We just blow it up. Is that what you're saying, Bruce?
Yep.
Mojo up through the roof.
Yeah, it's Mojo overload here.
There we go. What a great thing to have, right?
Yeah.
Bruce, what is your final mental health tip that you have for us?
Start questioning the thoughts that you have. Is that really, supporting you? Is this another negative thought that's popping up? So now that you're aware of ants, you're going to start noticing them more often. And when you do, just say, cancel that and, stomp it out and replace it with a positive statement and say it out loud. Because by saying it out loud, it really helps get rid of that ant faster.
Absolutely. I love that. Olivia and I, we talk about, what name do you come up with? And mine is La Debbie. When La Debbie comes out to be sad and to be angry, I just tell her to go back in her box. I don't have time for her. I don't want her. I always tell people I don't do drama. And I think it's because, if you have a family, you have enough drama. And that is for you to take care of because they're your family, but you don't need that all day long, every day, because it will wear on your mental state. And we need to remind ourselves of that.
Need to make a suggestion though. Says don't tell LaDebbie to go back into her, the corner and that, because think of that persona, that voice, as a little child. What does a little child do when they want attention? They keep and you keep ignoring them. They're going to start making an even more louder voice and start screaming in that. So you're just like, okay, hi, I recognize you. I acknowledge you. But what the thoughts that you're giving me are not supporting you right now. So let's talk about how you can maybe do your job differently. I know you're trying to protect me, but I've got this covered. So
I like that. That's a positive way and a teachable way to remind us. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I love that. So like you actually have a little bit of a different spin, compassionate spin, and treating LaDebbie as a child and just be like, what is it that you want? And training her a little bit. That's awesome.
There's the different voices and thoughts. Think of it as your inner child, and they want attention.
I love that, Bruce. Thank you so much. Now that was a great tip. I am glad I brought that up.
I have to
that
ask
is going to make me think differently, completely differently, and even more in a Mojo way.
Yeah.
So Bruce, I've got to ask, what is your inner child persona or the negative persona that comes out? What name would you give him?
Well, I went through a variety, a whole series of experiential learning workshops and that. And one of them, we came up with kind of a group collective. It's Horrible Harry. Harry's going to pop up at some point. Just be ready for him.
Horrible Harry. There we go. There we go. Oh my goodness. Life throws us curveballs all the time, and it's all about how we deal with those curveballs.
Yeah.
It truly is.
It's interesting. One of the last session that I went through this series of workshops with, like a few days after I came back from this long weekend, we had a big meeting at Boeing in our big conference room with one of the directors, I think. And everybody's workload we were just stressed out to the max because of all the projects we were working on. And the room is full, and I'm sitting around the edge of the room, up even with where the director is talking, and he makes a simple statement that I know everybody's got a full plate, but you're just going to have to pick and choose what you work on. And next thing I know, he and everybody else in the room is looking at me. And I realize, oh, that laugh wasn't out in my voice, inside my head. It was my outside voice that made that laugh. Do you have something you'd like to share? Sorry about that, but everything we work on is critical to the manufacture and delivery of the aircraft. What do we not work on? you realize how kind of a ridiculous statement that was. Like, oh, good point. But that's just one of those things that I realized, that coming back from a full weekend of positive, supportive people and thinking and everything, it wound up biting me at work.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. Is there anything else, Olivia, that we need to ask Bruce before we wrap up today?
No, Bruce, you have a gracious guest. Thank you so much for your patience with us. And thank you for all these amazing, just little lessons, right? Things that we can really take action on today. So I really hope the audience got something out of it. If you're watching this on replay, please continue the conversation, #replay. And if you've got more questions for Bruce, drop it in the comments because we'll be checking the chat periodically and we'll definitely be responding back to you. So just want to make another reminder here, please order the book, Make It a Great Day. The link is on the screen. All the proceeds from this book go towards the charitable organization of, teen prevention of suicide. So it's a great cause, and please really support that endeavor and read Bruce's chapter and write him a review. So we'd love your support for that. And if you're looking to get connected with Bruce, you can find him on LinkedIn. There's his link right here. And then, of course, there's Facebook. You can follow Bruce on Facebook. And if you want to see all the connections, because one of Bruce's value is connectedness. I know this a little bit about him. And he loves watching sci-fi movies. So if you've got a great sci-fi movie that you want to talk to him about, connect with him further. This is his link tree with all the links that you can find Bruce in. So thank you again, Bruce. And we didn't get to do favorite recipes today, but still submit those recipes into us. We'll get back to it on Thursday for Throwback Thursday. So stay tuned for that episode. We're going to close it out now with some outro clips, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great week. We'll see you on Thursday.